devil's tongue. That was the language that the Heavenly Father gave the devil to be lord over. Really, to tell you the truth, Esau explained to you that English is, when you speak English, you're putting curses on people, man.
Yeah, he got a such thing is called cursive and spelling.
That's why when you write cursive, it's like you waving a wand.
Yeah.
When you write in cursive,
and then you using spelling words.
Yeah.
So you putting spells, and you're writing in cursive. You're putting curses on people.
Yeah, man, it was so many words. I was checking out a video. It was so many words dude was going through, but he was explaining how English is witchcraft, and he was saying like just by I remember one, when you say good morning to somebody, what you're really saying to them is
good morning.
Yeah,
because that goes back to when the slaves, when they had the slaves.
Yeah.
And they would sell. If the woman had a child, they would take the child and sell the child, and she would mourn all night. And they would come and they would mock her and say, good morning, as in morning. You mourn. Did you have a good morning?
Yeah.
You know. Did you cry good enough? Because his damn devil took the baby and sold the baby.
Yeah.
You know, or sold their child, split up the family.
Yeah.
Or even something like the weekend. Yeah. By the time you work those days, man, you weak at the end.
Yeah. There we go. That was the other one he said.
You got the weekend.
You're weak. You know? And so that's the English language. That's the English language.
And you can't make anything official while signing cursive on a document or a contract.
Yeah.
You gotta sign in cursive. And capital letters means you dead, man.
Hey, shalom, shalom, shalom lakam, which is peace unto you all. Hayawam tawab, la atam za akyakam yawam, man rachagado, Charlotte, which is good day. This is your brother Yawam from the GMS camp in Charlotte. Nachamatam kaya ha malakwatha shamayim kwara, repent ye, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Call layim la abanawa Yahweh bahasham, Yahweh shah bahasham, rachaha kodash, wa mashana, la zakwanyim na wa malakim shaw, rachaha gadol, which is all praises to our Father, Yahweh, which means he exists, bahasham, in the name Yahweh Shah, he delivers, and double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. All right. So I just want to go into I wanted to land back on pretty much the video that I had posted prior to, starting up. I believe it was the beloved brothers in LA, the elder brothers out there, but pretty much they were going into how, English is a language of witchcraft. Those that made English, they pretty much made it to serve as, witchcraft and traps and stuff like that. So I want to get some edification on that. All right, so this is the etymology of English. All right. And it says the people of England, the speech of England, now use of Old English adjective Englisk, contrasted to Dinisk, Frenchisk, pertaining to the Angles, from Ingle, the Angles, the name of the Germanic groups that overran the island, supposedly so called because of Angul, the land they inhabited on Jutland coast was shaped like a fishhook, see angle. You see, but I'm going to go down right here. It says technically of the Angles, but English also was used from earliest times without distinction from all Germanic invaders. Angles, Saxon, Jutes, which, the Anglo-Saxons, that went into the angelic sons of Isaac, you see. So English does, share a phonetic sound with Anglo-Saxon, which again, to reiterate, those are the angelic sons of Isaac, so they was Jake, you see. But Esau is a master at witchcraft, so he gets words that sound similar to something else. All right, so I got something written right here. It says English etymology derives from Angles. It is said it comes from Anglo-Saxon, who were the angelic sons of Isaac, but those that invented the English language took the actual Latin Angulus, which we'll get right here when we go to Angle. And it says right here, it says Salat. It says Angle, and it says hook, fish hook. It says suffix form to bend, angle. It says fish hook, catch, or elicit by artful wiles. The wiles of the devil. Because essentially, pretty much English is a trapping language. it pretty much traps those that use it, you know. So it makes, you know, the body feel a certain kind of way, and that's why Esau made it for that particular purpose, you know. So I want to get some precepts. This is Job Ayawab, chapter 9 and verse 24. All right, this is Job 9 and 24, and it says, "The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he?" You see, so Esau is essentially he essentially has the earth in his hands, you know, and his power, you know. So his lingua franca, you know, is English. You know, that's the language that he chose. He chose the most low vibrational language, you know, on the left hand side to pretty much run society, you know, because every country, or damn near every country in the world, speaks English, you know, aside of their other language, you know. So I'm gonna get this as well. This is Mashallah, Proverbs chapter 6, and we'll get verse 1. It says, "My son, if thou be surety for thy friend, if thou hast stricken thy hand with a stranger, thou art snared with the words of thy mouth, thou art taken with the words of thy mouth." You see, pretty much going into sureties, but you see, I'm applying this to pretty much the words in the English language, because this is a language of angles. You know, it said the fish hooks, you know, pretty much traps, you know, because it essentially traps those that use it, because it has like a lot of double meanings, you know, things that essentially are low vibrational, you know. And whatever you speak, that's what you're thinking, you know, and what you speak, that's what you speak is what you think, and what you think is what you speak, you know. So if Esau can essentially control the language, he can essentially control the minds of the people. All right, but you know, he can't dictate the fate of the elect, you know. So I'm gonna continue on. This is Proverbs, Mashallah, chapter 10. We start at verse 11, and it says, "The mouth of the righteous is a well of life, but the violence covereth the mouth of the wicked." But violence covered the mouth of the wicked, you know, because the wicked is going to speak wickedly. All right, the righteous, they're going to bring out these precepts, you know. They're going to speak positive things. They're going to speak life. It says, "Hatred stirreth up strifes, but love covereth all sins," you know, because true love is, you know, loving your neighbor as yourself, you know, and loving the Lord with all your heart and soul, roughly paraphrasing. 13, in the lips of him that hath understanding, wisdom is found, but a rod is for the back of him that is void of understanding, you see, because essentially Esau got a lot to pay for, you know. He's going to pay for everything that he's done, you know, and then 2/3 they wanted to subscribe to his lifestyle, so they're going to reap what they sow, you know. Verse 14, "Wise men lay up knowledge, but the mouth of the foolish is near destruction." All right, because essentially the scriptures say that life and death is in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof, you know. So they're going to be rewarded for that, you know, whatever recompense that is. I'm going to get a quick one real fast. This is Tahoyim, Psalm 32 and verse 6, verse 4. Salat. Might be 28. This is Tahoyim, Psalm chapter 28, verse 3. It says, "Draw me not away with the wicked and with the workers of iniquity, which speak peace to their neighbors, but mischief is in their hearts." You know, they pretty much got that smooth tongue, you know, and Jake subscribed to that ideology as well. So it says, "Give them according to their deeds and according to the wickedness of their endeavors. Give them after the work of their hands. Render to them their desert." And that word desert goes into gamal, you know, so which essentially goes into a reward, you know, whether that's a righteous reward or a wicked reward, you know. Or Salat, going back to this verse, it says, "Render to them their desert." All right, so pretty much going into this verse, you know, those that are wicked, they're gonna receive a wicked reward, whatever that whatever is entailed in that, you know, whatever judgment the Lord has set for them. But back to Proverbs chapter 10, and we was at verse 15, and it says, "The rich man's wealth is his strong city." You know, because, you know, scriptures say that money is a defense and wisdom is a defense, roughly paraphrasing, but wisdom gives life to those that have it. You see, so, but scriptures also say that essentially you want to abide with the wisdom, you know, but scriptures also say that in the day of wrath, silver and gold, roughly paraphrase, or money isn't going to deliver anyone in the day of wrath, of the Lord's wrath, So the rich man's strong city, it's not going to hold up, Reading again, it says, the rich man's wealth is his strong city. The destruction of the poor is their poverty, which the poor will represent Jake, verse 16. The labor of the righteous tendeth to life. The fruit of the wicked is to sin. That's essentially what the wicked produces, sin. That's their production. So it says, he is in the way of life that keepeth instruction, but he that refuses reproof erreth, which the scriptures tell you, to mind the words that you use, and also to watch your actions. Verse 18, he that hideth hatred with lying lips, and he that uttereth the slander is a fool. And that's essentially what, this language, this English language pushes, I was watching a documentary one time, and it was essentially showing how, pretty much how people would consider groups, or they would say we or us, or what would benefit the group more, versus like nowadays, from how society's going, the social constructs and the languages that are used, chiefly English, it's more about it's more selfish. It's selfish, and then also how people talk in America, Babylon the Great, is with a lot of slanders, so that will be considered a fool. Verse 19, in the multitude of words that wanteth not sin, you're supposed to keep your words few, but he that refraineth his lips is wise. The tongue of the just is as choice silver, the heart of the wicked is little worth, because essentially what's on the wicked's mind is wickedness, So continuing on, I'm gonna read this real fast, because the brothers also mentioned cursive. All right. Well, I don't have that, but I'm gonna read this. It says, cursive is also encouraged in this society because it is a basis for wickedness and witchcraft. Because pretty much what cursive is, cursive just goes back to what they call spirit writing, It looks just like it, which they do some type of left hand means, but that's essentially what cursive is. It looks just like what this is. All right, which the Lord say that, those that subscribe to those types of practices, they're gonna be destroyed. But I'm gonna get this as well. All right, because essentially I said, to reiterate, it's a basis for wickedness and witchcraft, So I'm gonna get this real fast. This is Nahum, chapter 3, and we'll get verse 4. All right, it says, because of the multitude of the whoredoms of the well-favored harlot, the mistress of witchcrafts that selleth nations through her whoredoms and families through her witchcrafts. All right, America, Babylon the Great, it pushes wickedness, you see. And again, in the cursive writing, that's just a basis for witchcraft, I'm going to read this in the NLT. It says, all this because Nineveh, which, America, Babylon the Great can be also likened to Nineveh, the beautiful and faithless city, mistress of deadly charms, enticed the nations with her beauty. She taught them all her magic, enchanting people everywhere, so essentially, Babylon teaches its people witchcraft. It teaches its people to be faithless. It teaches its people its deadly charms, all right, the enchantments, all right, the magic. You see, because again, going back to the cursive writing, it's just a basis for wickedness. And just to prove that, because they taught you how to write in cursive, you see, but then they also taught you geometry, which geometry, that's just it says geometry, it says geometry, it says geometria, it says measurement of earth or land, geometry from combining form of G, earth, land. It says C, Gaia plus metria. All right, which when you go into this, all right, it says earth is a goddess from Greek Gaia, spouse of Uranus, mother of the Titans, which Gaia, that goes into some type of idol, which it ultimately goes into witchcraft, because from geometry, you got those that subscribe to sacred geometry, which that's some other left hand type stuff, but all of it, the geometry is just a basis for Esau's society. He'll tell people to go to schools, get your degree, get your core classes knocked out the way, get your electives, All right, but all of these things essentially go back to ancient societies like Greece, where they were pushing for people to go to college. All right, where they were pushing for this type of learning. You see, which those in so-called learning back in those days, they essentially were learning things like this: geometry, okay, algebra, astronomy, astrology. You know. All right, continuing on. Let's get this astronomy. Because all of this is a basis, you know, for Esau society. All right, this is astronomy. It says astronomy, astrology, scientific or occult study of heavenly bodies. All right, occult, that means some type of left-hand secret knowledge. And it says from Greek astronomia, astronomos, from astron, star. All right, and it says Ster. All right, and that comes from Asathar. All right, which that's Esther, and I believe that's the Asathar is how you say Esther, and the so let me get it. This is the word Asathar. All right, and it says Esther. It says of Persian divination. I believe they spoke Chaldean, which is like a derivative of Hebrew. All right. So continuing on, when you go into Ster, all right, and it says star, buck, and others doubt the old suggestion that it is borrowing from Akkadian Ishtar. It says Istar, but that's actually Ishtar. And it says Venus because Venus was associated with Ishtar. You see, so astrology, astronomy, all of that stuff, what they got inside those different things, those are Esau's foundations for different classes and stuff like that. Different majors, you see, but all of these are just base levels of his witchcraft, you know. Going back to the cursor writing, you know, learning the proper grammar, all right, learning the proper English language. You know, the English language is just filled with spells, you know. All right, continuing on, let's get this. I'm gonna get this. This is Exodus Shamwath Wasalakia Kaya Kwawal in the background, which is Kwawal sound. Forgive me for the noise in the background, but this is Shamwath Exodus chapter 18. We'll get verse 22, and it says 22 and 18. All right, Exodus 22 and 18. All right, and it says, "Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live." You see, so those that pretty much dibble and dabble in this left hand knowledge type stuff, you know, the Lord's gonna have a judgment for those as individuals if they don't repent. If they jake, you know, Esau, he ain't got no chance. All right, this is Revelation chapter 18. We'll get verse 6, and it says, "Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her according to her works. And the cup which she hath filled, fill to her double." All right, this place is going to receive double. All right, for all this treacherousness and deceit that has been pushed in this society, you know, teaching, you know, the kids or the children, especially, you know, or chiefly going into jake, you know, Esau going to be rewarded for that, you know, pretty much pushing his wickedness. You know, he's destroyed the earth. All right, this is Yaramyah, Jeremiah chapter 50 and verse 21. And it says, "Go up against the land of Marathayim, even against it, and against the inhabitants of Pakwawad, waste and utterly destroy after them, saith the Lord, and do according to all that I have commanded thee." You see, so Marathayim goes into double rebellion. Hey, so this place is going to receive double, you know, because essentially that's what the Lord has prophesied. And then also, this land is known as double rebellion, you know. Double rebellion, another name for Babylon. You know, double unto her according to her works. You know, the scriptures say that her sins have reached into the heavens. All right. Which I also want to go into this as well. All right, going into the word right. You got right and you got spelling. It says right, which when you write something, essentially it's just going into RITE, which is a ritual. And when you spell it out, essentially what Esau's teaching is when you say, okay, spell this word, you're pretty much teaching those that learn in his society to enchant people. So then it says write a complete sentence. When you say write a complete sentence, you're pretty much just saying Cause they would teach you in school, hey, write a complete sentence, and when the children they would write a complete, all right, they give you a little star, or they'd be like, oh, good job, you did good, give you an A+. They made them feel good, you know. But essentially that goes back to some left hand practices, you see, because when you write a complete sentence, you ritualizing to a complete amount about how you feel, you see, because when you break down the word sentence, the SEN part goes into sense, how you feel, you know. When you sign, just like the brother mentioned in the earlier part of the video, when you sign something like any type of contract or anything, you know, you pretty much signing away your life. Sig, that goes into sigil. All right, nature, that's just with life. So you're signing your life away, which I want to go into that as well. Sigil, it says a sign. All right, when you sign something, it says a mark or a seal. It says from late Latin sigillum, from Latin sigilla. It says statuettes, little images, seal, identifying mark, sign. It says see sign in astrology, an occult device supposed to have great power. Pretty much going into some type of read this right here. It says sigillary, I don't know how to say that last word, something like that. All right, but if we go into the word sign, all right, it says gesture of or motion of the hand, which we understand what the scriptures say. He that speaketh with his hands, speaketh with his fingers, he worketh wickedness, roughly paraphrasing. So it says signi, sign, mark, a signal. All right, which they're not saying that it goes into sigil, but that's ultimately what it goes into. You know, Esau, you know, he's crafty with it, with his he takes stuff off the internet and stuff like that. You know, but that ultimately goes into a sigil, which that goes into a magical symbol. You know, some left hand type of stuff. You know, that's why he makes everybody sign in cursive. You know, he makes people pretty much write out their name in cursive. You know, because that ultimately encourages cursive writing, which went back to that left hand spiritual writing or spiritism writing, and then also he pretty much pushing forth in his society and pushing a foundation of witchcraft. You see, but I'm gonna get this as well. This is Mashalya, Proverbs chapter 22, and we'll get verse 7. It says, the rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender, you see. So that's why the scriptures say not to be surety for a debt, you see, because you will become a servant to the lender. All right, which I'm going to get this real fast. Servant, it should go into ibad. All right, it says ibad, and it says slave, okay? So essentially, what that means by that is, okay, if you sign, okay, you sign a for a car. Okay, you don't make the payments. All right, they put it on your credit. Okay, so now you gotta live out that judgment, so to speak. Okay, or you say you don't do that. Say you sign your name on a dotted line in black and white. You sign in black and white. You know, but now you gotta pay. You have to keep up with the payments. All right, so you become a servant to the lender, you see, because you ultimately have to get it. You have to keep your job. You have to essentially make the means to, you know, keep that vehicle. So you, in turn, you become a servant to the lender, you see, which is ultimately better, you know, if we're in a situation to where, you know, we can buy things flat out, you know, we should do that, you know. Which I'm not saying, you know, to not keep up with payments. I'm just saying, you know, Esau's society is set up in witchcraft, you know, just to provide further edification through the spirit. I'm gonna go down to verse 24. It says, make no friendship with an angry man, and with a furious man thou shalt not go. Hey, so Esau will be that angry man. He will be that furious man. You know, he's been furious about the birthright. It's in his spirit, you know, since, you know, he pretty much sold it. You know, he still feels some kind of way. So he's using that sword. So like by various means, all right. He pretty much tries to ensnare Jake. All right, verse 25. Lest thou learn his ways and get a snare to thy soul. You see, because you got Jake ultimately subscribing to this man's system. All right, and if they don't repent, they'll be destroyed. Verse 26. Be not thou one of them that strike hands, or of them that are sureties for debts. If thou hast nothing to pay, why should he take away thy bed from under thee? Because the borrower is servant to the lender, you see. So Esau take everything from it. If you know, it's been stories of Jake having cribs. You know, it's like Jake could have a house from back in the 50s, you know, and in some way, somehow, You know, like maybe Esau was inside the essentially inside basically some way somehow, you know, Esau had his hand inside the deal, so to speak. All right, because Jake maybe had to, you know, I guess get a lien on the house or something like that, and Esau take that house away from the whole Jake family. If it was like 14, 15 people, even if they had no spot to stay in, you know. Or, you know, another example is if you go and rent like a literal bed, not rent, lease a literal bed from, like, I guess Best Buy, rent to own or something like that, and you can't pay it, they'll come to your crib and take that shit, you know, or your car. They'll come in and take your means of living, or your means of comfortability, and your actual means of living, all right, which will be your car. They'll take it from you, even if you fall into a tough situation. You know, Esau has set up this society in witchcraft. You see, so you know that further goes into, you know, why this place is going to be destroyed. You see. But I just wanted to go into that. You know, Adawar Tazaza by Naya Palos, with us a beautiful edification through the spirit. Wa Adawar Tazah Adam Yash Layala Tawabe, Lord, as well. You all have a good night. Wa Shalom Lakam, which is peace unto you all. Shalom.